I think I'm addicted to the TC Electronic Ditto X4 looper. I'm going to have to do another video of it. If you haven't already checked out the original, click here. And on this video, what I like to do is check out a couple of these super secret mode switches on the back panel. I've discovered that the X4 looper can create amazing sound-on-sound Frippertronics style loops. Let's check it out. All right, let's talk briefly about the secret mode switches. Actually, they're not secret, they're just on the back panel. There are 4 of them. When you get the Ditto X4, they're all in the down position. They're just little dip switches. And the first switch deals with the order of recording, playing back, and overdubbing. In the default down position, the order is record, playback, overdub. If you move that switch to the upper position, then you're going to be recording the first time you hit the switch, but the second time you hit the switch, you'll go directly into overdub mode. And then when you hit the switch the third time, you go finally into playback mode. Switch number 2 deals with when the overdubbing actually starts. In the down position, in sync mode only, the overdub starts immediately. If you're in serial mode, you're still starting that second loop at the end of the first loop. In the up mode, overdubbing starts at the end of the loop, regardless of whether you're in serial or sync mode. Switch number 3, in the down mode, when you're in serial mode, you're going to be recording the second loop at the end of the first loop's cycle. So again, you're playing back that first loop, then you'll begin to record at the end of the cycle. In sync mode, both the loops are going to be synchronized. So that's default. If you flip that switch up, and if you're in sync mode, the whole thing is unsynced. So each loop, so loop 1 and loop 2, are totally independent. Switch 4 is just true bypass, that's the default mode, or if you flip it up, you're in buffered bypass. Alrighty. I'm going to be working with switches 1 and 2 today. I've flipped them both up so that I can effectively record, overdub, then playback. This is what I'm going to use to get the sound-on-sound Frippertronic technique effect. Here's my clean sound on the guitar. Nothing special. And I'm just going to go ahead and do one loop real quick so you can hear how it records and then immediately goes into overdub mode. All right. Shut up. Okay, so, and one of the things you might have noticed is that the layers of loops as they overdubbed faded out. And that's because I've got that decay knob all the way down. Let me bring it up all the way so that the loops just kind of go nuts here. Here we go. All right, you can hear how that's going to get out of hand pretty quick, right? If you just keep overdubbing and overdubbing and overdubbing. So this mode's not going to be real great for more measured types of overdubbing unless you bring that decay knob down so that your layers kind of leave a little bit at a time so you're never building up too many layers. Let me bring it back down to about 10 o'clock or so. And now I'm going to kind of focus more on the kind of that classic Frippertronics sound and technique. So I'm going to bring in some distortion and set my guitar up here briefly. Yep, here we go. Yep. And here's my basic distorted sound. All right, and I'm also going to bring in just a little ping pong delay. Okay, nothing too crazy, but it is important to note that the delay is after the looper in the signal chain. So I'm going to be delaying the loop, not looping the delay, if that makes sense. So let me go ahead and start playing some Frippertronics style guitar. And again, check out my video on Frippertronics if you haven't already done so. And let's see what happens. Okay, so the loops now are just gonna fade out because I've got that decay set to 10 o'clock. Let me go ahead and speed it up by turning on the fade effect. And we'll hear everything fade out within about 5 seconds or so. All right, so, that's pretty cool. And that is very similar to the original Frippertronic technique that was utilized or that was accomplished with tape decks way back in the day. One of the cool things that you can do that was pretty dang difficult to do with tape decks is use 2 loops simultaneously. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of the same thing, but I'm going to start with loop 1, create a little Frippertronic thing, and go into overdub mode, and then I'm going to hit that button a 3rd time to flip it into play mode. Then I'm going to go to the 2nd loop and start building a 2nd loop while the 1st loop just plays statically, because once you hit play, whatever loops are there are not going to fade out. So let's check that out. right, so we'll let that fade out. So that is a pretty cool effect. So again, what I did was in loop 1, we went into record in overdub mode, froze it by playing it back, then went into loop 2, did the same thing. There you have it. Using the mode switches on the TC Electronic Ditto X4 looper, man, you can create some pretty amazing sound-on-sound Frippertronics style looping music. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. I've got ambient guitar-related content coming every week. And in addition, if you're interested, please check out Chords of Orion music here. And as always, I'll see all of you on the next video.